He is the Harris County Chair and Texas Vice Chairman of the Libertarian Party. Guy is a Texas professional engineer who served as the Texas representative on the Libertarian National Platform Committee in 2006 and 2008, and is again serving in 2010. Mr. McLendon lobbied their national delegates in 2006 for what was subsequently dubbed the Portland Purge, which deleted over 90% of their old platform planks. He served on the 2008 subcommittee that drafted a new directional principles format for the current Libertarian National Platform. Guy first met Ron Paul in 1988. When Guy ran for Congress in 2002, Dr. Paul gave him a personal 1-hour mentoring lesson on the U.S. Constitution. In 2008, Guy set aside party politics and trained Republicans to block walk for Dr. Paul's presidential campaign. Guy's battle cry is, "Remember the Constitution." Please welcome Mr. Guy McLendon.
All right. Hello, I'm Guy McLendon, the Vice Chairman of the Texas Libertarian Party. Today, we celebrate the vision held by America's founding fathers. For example, Benjamin Franklin was not a modern liberal, nor was he a conservative. Our founding fathers were libertarians, like many of you here today. We have several core beliefs. First is the principle of self-ownership. Your life, your body, and the fruits of your labor belong only to you. Your life is not the property of the United States government. Second is our non-aggression principle. You have the right to do whatever you choose if you don't violate the rights of another. That combines the Christian golden rule together with the concept of natural rights. We use these principles, our moral compass, to develop public policy. We embrace only the good aspects of both the left and the right. Libertarians are fiscally responsible and socially tolerant. When elected, our candidates would respect your economic and your civil liberty, both. Our candidates are good people with good ideas. A step away from goodness is a step towards tyranny, where some King George or Obama can steal your property or even squander your life. The duopoly, both Democrats and Republicans, presume to have powers never granted. They steal what you earn and save and give the plunder to their friends. That's an economic crime. They impose their own preferences of conduct, a crime against civil liberties. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll now begin with the questions. I'd once again like to remind the panelists that we're going to have 1 minute for each response. You'll go ahead and answer from your seats, and please make sure to keep the answers on par with the topic of the Constitution. The panelists have all received these questions in advance. They received them yesterday, so they did have a chance to prepare responses. First question. The United States Constitution is 4,400 words. The Patriot Act of 2001 is 132 pages. The current H.R. 3200, known as the America's Affordable Health Choices Act of 2009, is 1,017 pages. For years prior to becoming law, presidents had by and large followed a tradition of a 2-term limit. Should Congress follow a similar tradition or pass a law to limit the length of bills to be considered? And we will begin this one with Mr. McLendon.
Many congressmen, can you hear me? Many congressmen give excuses. They say they don't have time to read the bills before voting on them. Clearly, that is evidence the bills are too long. Bodies such as Congress have internal laws or bylaws. I would certainly support a change in their bylaws to limit the length of bills. Further, speaking of bylaws changes, I would eliminate the so-called fast-track legislative process. This process reeks of tyranny and blocks every parliamentary rule that can be used to require discussion. When you hear fast-track, think gag order. When a long bill is fast-tracked, not only isn't it read, it isn't even discussed on the floor. I fully support an originalistic method of interpretation. It was only after Franklin Roosevelt threatened to stack the court in the 1930s that the court switched from originalism to the living tree method of interpretation. Also, in 1803, in the Marbury versus Madison decision, the court decided to give itself the power that's now called judicial review. I would support an amendment to enumerate the powers of the Supreme Court and strip them of their ability to define that 2 + 2 = 5. The Supreme Court's power of judicial review should be limited. The citizens of this nation are the ultimate sovereign, so I'd like to empower juries to check decisions of the court. The living tree sounds so pretty, it's lethal as a weed. Wealth benefits one group and not everyone broadly, as in genuine general welfare. Such a power would allow Congress to pass laws to steal from one person to benefit another. Obama's plan would rob Peter to benefit Paul. A libertarian plan would restore a free market in health care. We would repeal the law that prevents your doctor from giving a discount if you pay cash, lower cost of drugs by ending FDA regulations for testing effectiveness while keeping them for protecting against safety. And then we'd let consumers buy drugs across national borders and buy insurance from companies in other states to increase competition. Increased competition will lower costs, and the government is interfering in the free market.
Next we'll have McLendon.
Yes, there's many examples. Anytime the federal government exercises a power not listed in the Constitution, they are violating the 10th Amendment. The enumerated powers are mostly in Article 1, Section 8, but others are scattered around, such as in the amendments. Here are some examples of recent violations. Private citizens, not government, should decide all aspects of their medical care, including what medicines, treatments, and health care providers they want. 1. 2. The federal war on drugs is illegal, not enumerated. 3. The Federal Department of Education should not exist. It's not listed in the enumerated powers. The White House should not issue talking points to the mainstream media. Mind control is not an enumerated power. Our men and women in uniform should not be sent to die in war unless Congress issues an official declaration. We fervently defend the rights of people, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and property. The first piece of property is your life. Your life belongs to you. It does not belong to the United States government. Okay? In order to sustain your life, you live in a world of, like sort of Madonna. We live in a material world here. And if you don't have the ability to farm the land or do whatever it is you do as a profession, you don't have the means to feed yourself. So to deny you the property, especially in the old days, in the Middle Ages and so forth, to deny property is to deny you the life.